Hello everybody, it's Chokichu15 here, and today we'll be taking a look at my beys. So first we'll be going over my beys from Beyblade X with my newest stadium, with the accelerator rails. It's pretty neat. So before testing them out, I've got to, of course, show them on camera. So I have myself Sword Dran. I do have Dagger Dran as well, but it's lost right now, sadly. So then I also have, I forget his name, something Unicorn, but is from that other influencer that battled Multi-Nana Hero, social media influencer. This is that Phoenix Bey. Supposed to, I'm pretty sure it was designed to be the best one in the show, but despite that, it still lost against Dagger Dran. Anyways, I have Helm Knight here, and Arrow Wizard, and also Chain Incendio. And this isn't from the show from what I've seen so far, but they've came out with new episodes. But it's this Mammoth Bey. So now, let's get some test spins on these. Right, so first I'll be testing out Helm Knight. Pretty solid defense type. It stays in one place. It's a little wobbly though. So yeah, it has good characteristics for a defense type, although it's pretty wobbly. So I'd give this maybe a 6 out of 10. And then here's our Arrow Wizard. Let's test her out. Supposed to be a stamina type, so. Oh, miss launch. Hate when that happens. So it's spinning pretty fast and staying overall in one place. I'm liking Arrow Wizard. It's so far 9, maybe even 10 out of 10 for its stamina. But I can't really determine that just off of solo spins. I'd have to get into battles too. So here's our Chain Incendio. I'm pretty sure it's a balance type. So kind of just depends on what you put it against. Kind of all over the place. Its extreme dash isn't really too well. I'd give this maybe a 5 out of 10. Let's see, next up is Mammoth. I have no idea what type it is. We'll determine that after spinning it. Okay, so it looks to be an attack type. Its extreme dash isn't too well, so I'd give this a 5 out of... No, I'd give this a 6 because it didn't crash into the walls as much as Incendio did. So I'll give it that. Here's our Unicorn Bey. Overall staying in one place, very good defensive posture. I'd give this a 10 out of 10 so far. Now, this is going to be all over the place because it is zooming. I'm actually going to use the launcher that came with it because this was like a special purchase. with a special launcher, I guess, but it did like one extreme dash and then crashed out. But let's try that again. Yeah, the same thing. It does an extreme dash, and then it just can't handle itself. Let's try one last time. So it has pretty good extreme dash. It's done 2 of them already. But since it's all over the place, it of course loses stamina pretty quickly. I'm sure Sword Dran will do the same. Excellent extreme dashes, already 2 of them. And it has better stamina than Phoenix. So now, let's get into some battles. First, let's put up Mammoth against Unicorn, because those are the ones that I don't really have good names for. Dang, Mammoth is doing extreme dashes all over the place. And because of that, it lost lots of stamina and lost right away. So let's launch Unicorn first, because it stays in one place. Most of the time. Dang, Mammoth just crashed out. Here's our battle. Yeah, excellent, very good battle. It looks like Mammoth wins. So, let's not get into these anymore, because I don't want to. So, let's put multi-Nana Arrows 2 beys together. Defense against stamina. Theoretically, because of type advantage, Arrow Wizard should win, but that's not always the case. So this might take a while because it's defense against stamina. Well, somehow, even against the odds, Helm Knight has won with a burst finish. So that's surprising. In a real match, the battle would already be over because Helm Knight would have 2 points with that burst finish. But let's go ahead and spin him again. Oh dang, nice survival. Just what you'd expect from a stamina type. And this time Arrow Wizard wins, but to win, you need 2 points, so we're gonna have to spin again. So 1-1. Arrow Wizard decided to risk it and do a extreme dash. And that threw it off guard. So. Alright, so that was a mislaunch. Like, as soon as I launched it, it bursted, so we're gonna have to try that again. Because I don't count battles like that. Those are the no-no battles that nobody likes. So, pretty good contact. I'm definitely going to count this. just as you'd expect, because of, well, odds, Arrow Wizard is the winner. Type matchups, I guess you could better call them. Let's try Chain Incendio against Sword Dran. Well, one that doesn't count because Sword Dran kind of just fell off of the launcher, so I won't count that. Oh wow, Chain Incendio actually defeated Dran. Well, not quite yet, but you got a point off of Dran. Even though Dran was launched second, he still lost. That's like crazy. Incendio, you can't let off all your steam all at once. Okay. That's weird. Like, it launched itself and bounced up off the rim, and it was still spinning on, like, a fabric mattress. That's weird. Let's try that again. So this time, Dran gets a point. So, this next battle will determine the outcome. And just as you'd expect from one of the best bladers, Sword Dran is the winner. So I will eliminate Incendio with the beys that I won't spin anymore. Let's put Dran against Helm Knight. Now, if you're counting theoretic, what do you call it, type advantage, due to type advantage, Helm Knight should win, but that's not always the case. Especially since we're putting them up against the champion ranked Bey. I hate when that happens. It just like falls off. How is the defense type moving like that? So just like defense types are built for, it tanked an extreme dash and all of Dran's other heavy hits. So, but Helm Knight, sorry to say, you need another point to win. So, it looks like Dran put so much power into an extreme dash that Helm Knight couldn't deal with it, and it got knocked back. Some attacks are just too strong to handle. So now it's 1-1. This next battle will determine the winner. Oh dang! Champion lost. Well, now let's put Dran against Multi's other Bey, Arrow Wizard. Now, due to type advantage, Sword Dran has the advantage. So that was over much faster than I expected. I mean, Sword Dran didn't even have to use an extreme dash for that. So that's kind of sad. Boo. Well, because it was turned into a stamina battle, Duran lost. So I think now it's 1-1. Getting attacked a whole lot, but it's holding its own. It just tanked that battle. Look at his speed. Well, looks like Duran lost against Multi-Nana Hero, which I'm pretty sure literally means 7-colored rainbow in Japanese. So technically her name is not... Well, technically her name is 7-colored rainbow. Yeah, from now on when I watch Beyblade, I'm just gonna call her 7-colored rainbow. Because, I mean, why not? So now let's do Phoenix. We haven't put him in battle yet. Let's put him against Arrow Wizard first. Speed is so blinding fast that it was over in like less than a second probably. But literally the definition of winning with speed. Oh, nice. While Arrow Wizard was cornered, Phoenix quickly knocked it into the elimination zone for a ring out finish. Let's do one more battle. Let's do a 3-point battle. Literally bursting from being launched. Probably took a bunch of damage from Phoenix. Let's launch them with their respective launchers. Because they made no contact, I will not be counting that battle. But if that was a real battle, like in the show, I'm pretty sure Arrow Wizard would have won that. But that's kind of a boring battle, so I just won't count it. That was pretty nice, to be honest. Well, Arrow Wizard loses. Let's do Home Night now. Boo. That wasn't really some good defense, but okay. Now that was some better defense. Maybe I should just use the red launcher. Phoenix went out of control. Somehow Home Night decided to end it before Phoenix got too much speed, so yeah. Nice defense. I'm really liking these battles now. Terrible launch. Now, if that would have made contact, I would have bet on Phoenix winning that battle, but there was no contact, so I won't count that battle. Alright, so for the final Quad Strike, not Quad Strike, X battle, I will do Dran against Phoenix. I could barely even see that. Phoenix moves so fast. Phoenix is just out of control. Now Dran is the one. No, that really was fast. If Dran could have just stayed in there, it would have won. I mean, it literally took, like, most of Phoenix's stamina to knock Dran out like that. Let's try to get one more good battle with these two. They made contact, but I wouldn't really call that a good battle. Now here's ourselves a good battle. Finally, Phoenix earned itself a win. So now, let's put the X beys away and get into my better, more, well, likable beys. On a quad drive stadium. Now, before getting into the battles, y'all know I have to show off the beys. So, let's get these things on camera, and then we can go into battles. Yeah, I'm, actually gonna get into an interesting story here. Eventually. Actually, no, I'll just go ahead and tell the story now. So, right here is my Drain Fafnir, and here's what's left of my Raid Lunar. So here's the story. I put him in a battle once. And then, like, it's like, this is a Generation 2 bey against, like, a Generation 6, I think. So, despite that, Drain Fafnir wins, but it takes winning to a whole nother level, as you might have already guessed. So, like, let's just pretend it was battling, let's see, Valtryek. Salvage Valtryek. So, like, what happened is if I can find where I put the Fafnir. Well, anyway, what's happened is they were in battle, and like I said, Drain Fafnir won, but it cracked, like one of the sides cracked. It wasn't completely in half, but it literally opened up. So that was disappointing because Lunar was one of my favorites. Oh, well, here he is. Okay, so now let's get into the beys. Broken Luinor. Sadly. Alright. First, the OGs. I have 4 of them. The very original Valtryek. Terrible lighting, I'm sorry about that. And then the very original Spryzen. I have the very original Wyvern. And I forget his name, but I like to call him Marble Guy. So, let's get these 4 into battle. Kind of a bad stadium. A little bit tall for my camera angle. But let's try to... I have an idea. Now you'll be able to see. I just have to get a launcher. Alright. First, let's put a Spryzen against Valtryek. That's always do for a good battle. So Spryzen started off a little rough, so I'll just launch it again. And here's Valtryek. I think Valtryek landed on top of Spryzen, but, I mean, Valtryek does have the type advantage. Sadly, I lost the little yellow thing to keep them on the top layer of the battle stadium, so I'll have to order another one of those. Now here's the problem with these original beys. They're so light, there's like a fixed limit onto how much power you... I mean, it doesn't matter how much power you can put it. Let's say they have a fixed speed limit. With the heavier beys, they're heavy enough to where the stronger you launch them, the faster they'll spin. But since these bays are so light, then that's not the case. So let's put Wyvern against Valtryek. Valtryek almost burst against Spryzen. So Valtryek wins, even in the olden days. Alright, now let's put Valtryek up against Marble Dude. How's it do that? Like, just... Another thing to mention, these very old bays from, like, Generation 1, they don't really have good burst resistance, so they burst a lot. Oh, okay. I don't know why anybody would want to do that, but it marked itself into the elimination zone. Even though the Marble Guy got landed on top of, it's still in the game with pretty good stamina. Finally making contact. I think Valtryek might even lose this battle. What do you know? Alright. So, now that we've tested the Gen 1 bays, let's get into the Gen 2 bays. I have Drain Fafnir, one of my favorites. I have Spryzen Requiem. It can spin left and right, as well as it has stamina mode, defense mode, and attack mode. So this bay has everything. Well, everything back then, but nowadays there's more. I have the Valtryek with its spring-loaded attack. Another thing to mention, all these bays that I'm showing in this video are Takara Tomy. I don't really like Hasbro bays. I have a bunch of them, but I don't really like the Hasbro, because they don't click. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but Takara Tomy is definitely better quality. I know I had Luinor. There he is. So Luinor is kind of hard to burst, because you have to move the dragon's head. Sorry for this terrible lighting, but the dragon's head has to move all the way, and then the driver will pop out. So let's put that back together. Do I have any more Gen 2 bays? No, it doesn't look like I do. So, let's put these into battle. Oh, and I'm gonna need a second launcher. Because now we have left spin bays. Woohoo. I wish I had the original Luinor to add to the collection. I have Gen 2 Luinor, but I do not have Generation 1 Luinor. Oh, and also There was another Spryzen in Generation 2 before Shu turned to the dark side, but I do not have that Spryzen. So first, let's put Spryzen. Wait, no. Fafnir against Luinor. I'm gonna have to switch this launcher to left mode, because it was in right spin mode. So we're gonna put it in left spin mode. Connect it back to the grip. And spin some beys. Get out of there, Fafnir. Luinor wants a battle. And a battle is gonna get. Make contact. A draw. What do you know? Neither one of them even clicked once towards bursting. So these beys are hard to burst. It kind of just like skimmed on top of Fafnir and then ran itself into the elimination zone. So let's do that again. One more battle. I don't want a battle of Luinor just circling around, so it's gonna have to make contact. There we go, some nice contact. It looks like Luinor is gonna lose this one. Let's put this launcher back into right spin mode because Valtryek spins right, not left. Let's see how Valtryek does against the GOAT of this time. Free De La Hoya. That was kind of some. That was a terrible launch. I don't have to use a different launcher, because Valtryek might even win this battle. Although this drain Fafnir, has rubber built into it, so it can drain spin. It can steal spin from Valtryek. I've actually tested it out. It's not as good as it is in the show, but I've spun Fafnir by hand and Valtryek by launcher, and Fafnir still won. The spin still wasn't as good as it was in the show, but it still works. So I'm gonna have to use one of these Hasbro launchers. The Hasbro beys, I don't like them, but the Hasbro launchers are honestly better than the Pro Series launchers. To see how much better that was. So now, I'm going to spin Valtryek by launcher and Fafnir by hand. Valtryek kind of just avoided Fafnir like a smart person, so I'll give him credit. Hey, sorry I had to pause for a moment. But now, let's test it out. Spinning Fafnir by hand and Valtryek by launcher. So, the battle has now started. So, it doesn't work 100% of the time, but it'll work sometimes. Like I said, the spin steel isn't as good as it is in the show, but it still works. Now Fafnir's actually stealing some spin, but because it's not as good as it in the because it's not as good as it is in the show, Fafnir still lost. So now let's do Surprise and Requiem. Get that into some battles. Okay, just found out I have it in left mode, so I'll have to spin it with the Hasbro launcher. Alright, so that'll be it for our Generation 2 battles. Let's just, I won't be ranking them, separating them by generation from now on, but let's get into the rest of the beys. I have no idea what this even is, but it's Takara, so it's in the video. It is a defense type. Very low to the ground defense type. This is like, I don't think this is Takara, but it clicks, so, and it's Turbo Valtryek. The turbo blades do come out, but sadly it's a fake. the turbo blades come out, but it doesn't activate the little thing inside that prevents it from bursting. So, well, it didn't burst, sadly. Let's see, who do we have here? It's Prime Apocalypse. This thing is nearly impossible to burst. Literally. The only way to burst this thing is for you to get it lit, turned to where it's red in the center. So let me just get that done real quick. Alright, due to poor lighting, you might not be able to see, but it is red in the center. And then it has to be hit. The next time it gets hit, it has to be hit on this sword, or it'll not burst. If it is not hit on the sword, it'll completely reset, and it'll have to be knocked over to red again, and then hit with the sword to burst. And again, if it's not hit with the sword, it'll lock out of place and it won't be red anymore, so it can't burst until potentially it's red again. So I have spun Prime Apocalypse hundreds of times, and out of all those battles, I have only seen it burst a couple of times, like 2 or 3. Now, sadly, my bay is broken. Hyperion is broken. Like, the swords, they just stick out. They won't push back in. I tried fixing it, but I guess something inside of it did look white, so it's not as sturdy. I'll probably have to get a new bay, because I don't want to pay for just one part if just one part's broken. But the gimmick for Helios is still working, and personally, I like Helios's gimmick more. It like spins instead of pushes out. So here's my Master Dragon. Very nice driver. Let's see who's next. It is Jet Wyvern. It has very good defense, but it's super glued together. I don't remember why I did it. Something was wrong, so I super glued it together. But it has very good defense due to this wheel. And Knockout Odax, however you say it. Either or, I guess. Master Devilos, I think. Anyways, it can spin left and right. And it also has attack mode, defense mode, stamina mode. The 3-way driver. Now, we have Salvage Valtryek. And due to friction, the driver will like pop up and make the bay bounce. So I think that's pretty cool. Now I have the, what's it called, Fafnir, and the top of this thing is like almost completely made of rubber, so this thing actually can steel spin pretty good, but only if it's up against a right spin bay. If it's up against another left spin bay like Luinor, spin steel won't work. I think this is Union, Achilles, Unison, I don't know, but it has a lot of modes. And then I have both versions of Bellfire. Let's see. This is the original with no extra gear, just Bellfire. But I do have most of the gears for it. I have Fafnir gear, F gear. I have L gear and V gear. So putting them on is quite simple. The Valtryek gear just goes on the driver. The Luinor gear is pretty simple as well. Just take it completely apart, and instead of using, the ring that you use to put it switch from high mode and low mode, you have to discard this ring and instead just put the L gear on top. And this adds to some extra attack. And then just put the F gear. There's some little nubs and it'll just click into place. So now, oh, I forgot something. You have to put this on before you put the L gear on. But with this new gear, the Luinor gear adds to some more attack power. The Fafnir gear makes it more bulky and defensive. It also adds a trait of spin steel because it has rubber. So let's just click that in. And I don't know, Valtryek gear does something to the driver. I don't exactly know what, but it does something. Where'd I put it? And I think my driver is broken. Because the V gear won't stay on. So let's just click that in. And now it is equipped with F gear and L gear. The driver's broken, so V gear won't stay on. I do not have S gear. I think I have to buy World Spryzen. It's like $50. And it comes with the S gear. And then here is my other Bellfire. For this Bellfire, the driver is not broken, so V gear will stay on. Let's go ahead and take all the gear off of the other Bellfire. So for this newer version of Bellfire, L Luinor gear can also go on in exchange for the ring that lets you switch between high mode and low mode. And I have to put this thing on first. Keep forgetting that part. So now it is equipped with L gear. Well, not quite, because I have to put the other gears on first. There is a newly added gear that you need the new Velfire for it to work. It is Achilles gear. Now, here's the thing. You kind of have to switch between Achilles and Fafnir, because it kind of just depends on who you're battling. I'm going to put on Achilles gear for now. Let's see. It has extra nubs, so Achilles gear will fit in. You put that in and equip it with the Luinor gear. Now let's try putting... Well, boo. I have to put A gear on and then kind of just push this through. Actually, it kind of helps if you just connect it first and then do that and put L gear on top. And now it is all in one piece. So now I put on the driver. And it is equipped with Luinor gear, Achilles gear, and Valtryek gear. So this is what it looks like. Now, I'm going to take Achilles gear off and switch it with Fafnir gear. Much easier to put on. And now it's a bit more bulky, so it shouldn't be as prone to bursting. So unfortunately, I won't be getting into battles with these in this video, because I have already dragged this video on for so long. But if you have made it this far, congratulations, you are a legendary Beyblade fan. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.